Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to Midday News on Global Television. Coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja, I am Sadia Yakubu. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channels 276. And now the news in details. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has reaffirmed his commitment to eliminating terrorists and bandits across northern Nigeria, insisting that no region will be left to bleed under his watch despite inheriting a deeply layered and sophisticated security crisis. Tinubu, who was represented by Speaker of the House of Representatives Tajuddin Abbas at the Arewa Consultative Forum's 25th anniversary in Kaduna, warned that the North faces one of the gravest moments in its history, stressing that Nigeria cannot prosper while a vital region remains paralyzed, and urging leaders to uphold moral responsibility, rebuild trust, and strengthen institutions. Tinubu praised the ACF's role in safeguarding regional unity, highlighted new economic opportunities, including impending crude oil production from Kolmani, and listed key federal interventions such as Abuja-Kaduna-Kano Superhighway, scheduled for commissioning soon. In the meantime, President Bola Tinubu has urged world leaders at the G20 summit in Johannesburg to reform global financial and trade systems so that Africa and other developing regions benefit fairly from their critical minerals, instead of remaining improvised while powering global industries. Represented by Vice President Kashim Shettima, Tinubu insisted on value addition at the source, transparency in mineral extraction, protection of host communities, and global ethical standards for artificial intelligence that prioritize safety, equity, and human dignity. Tinubu said that G20 must champion fairer trade, inclusive investment, debt reforms, and technology transfers to ensure the green and digital transformation uplift rather than exclude developing nations. The Kebbi State government has ordered the closure of all public and private secondary and tertiary institutions except the College of Nursing, Science and Midwifery. This is contained in a statement jointly issued by the Commissioner for Higher Education, Isa Abubakar Tunga, and Commissioner for Basic and Secondary Education, Dr. Halima Bande, in Birnin Kebbi. The order followed an early morning raid on the government girls' comprehensive secondary school in Maga, where bandits killed a staff member and abducted 25 students, according to a police statement detailing how the attackers scaled the fence before security arrived. In a related development, Nad State Governor Muhammad Umar Bago has directed that all schools across the state should be shut down until after the new year, while the schools in security-affected areas in the state will be shut down until further notice. The governor stated these while fielding questions from newsmen in Mina after a security and stakeholders meeting in Government House over the current security situation in the state. According to the governor, they include private and public schools, Islamic and missionary schools, federal government colleges, and some tertiary institutions like schools of nursing and midwifery. The Kano State chapter of the All Progressives Congress, APC, has warned the Minister of State for Housing and Urban Development, Yusuf Abdullahi Atta, against making public statements that could undermine the party's unity. In a letter signed by the state chairman Abdullahi Abbas, the party faulted Atta's recent media remarks on internal matters and political aspirants, describing them as inappropriate and capable of creating tension within the party. The APC reminded the minister that only authorized officials are permitted to speak on party affairs, pointing out that Atta holds no communication or public relations mandate. Senator representing Kaduna Central in the 8th Senate, Shehu Sani, has condemned the rising wave of killings across Nigeria and calls for urgent unity and collective action from citizens of all faiths. He made the call at the Interfaith Summit in Abuja, attended by Christian and Muslim clerics. Topsy Gimba reports.
At the gathering, Senator Shehu Sani lamented the persistent attacks claiming lives, especially in northern communities, describing the region as a killing field overrun by armed criminals groups. He said the summit sends a clear message urging religious leaders not only to speak frankly among themselves, but also make a strong appeal to government for decisive intervention.
I'm bringing you to speak to the power, to speak to those in the position of leadership and authority. Because the mistake we have always made in this country.
The senator questioned how bandits riding on motorcycles continue to terrorize vulnerable communities without consequence, stressing that Nigeria should not be an exception to global examples where Christians and Muslims coexist peacefully.
But our diversity is a blessing. And I can say this from my own personal experience. The nation of Ethiopia, they were Christians when Nigerians were worshiping idols, and they were Muslims when Nigerians were worshiping idols.
The Archbishop Pentecostal from Plateau State, James Majid, said it is time to confront the truth about the killings. He called on authorities to urgently seek external support, if necessary, to halt the violence.
We as Christians and Muslims have come together to say enough of this.
The chief imam of Kaduna Polytechnic, Mala Awaka Siddiq, emphasized that Nigeria is already in a wartime situation, urging Christians and Muslims to stand together and defend the nation's unity.
That does not stop us from practicing our own different faiths. A Christian will practice his own, faith in his own Christian way, and the Muslims also. So there must be that, unity and diversity.
Participants at the summit, organized by the Africa Freedom Foundation YARI, AFF, proposed various approaches to end the insecurity bedeviling the country. Topsy Gimba, reporting for Global Television News.
The Federal Ministry of Health and Social Welfare has described attempted suicide as national public health emergency, which needs to be looked into with a view to find solutions to end it. National Secretary of the National Task Force on Decriminalization of Attempted Suicide, Dr. Ojo Tunde, disclosed this during a sensitization engagement meeting on discrimination of attempted suicide in Nigeria at the National Assembly for its staffs. Zarau Nasir reports.
It was a gathering of the staff of the National Assembly, together with non-governmental organizations working on mental health as well as civil society organizations and some from other relevant fields. The National Secretary of the Task Force on Decriminalization of Suicide, Dr. Ojo Tunde, says the aim of the meeting is to interact with staff of the National Assembly to sensitize them on the progress made so far on suicide decriminalization.
You want to take your life, it is a criminal thing that should be punished. But what the evidence has also shown is that the fear of, if we decriminalize attempted suicide, is going to make it more rampant. It doesn't worth its salt. No evidence has shown that when we decriminalize attempted suicide, that such goes up.
While delivering his speech, the clerk to the Committee on Specialty Healthcare of the National Assembly, Todd Yusey, says the sensitization meeting will help the align both in the Senate and National Assembly to get to understand more the content of a bill that's coming up seeking to decriminalize attempted suicide in Nigeria.
He approved that we have this engagement to sensitize staff about a bill that is being drafted that is coming from the executive seeking to decriminalize attempted suicide in Nigeria. So the relevance of this engagement is to help our line staff.
While presenting his paper on suicide, the president of the Association of Psychiatrists, Professor Teo Obindo, in Nigeria says it's high time for Nigeria to decriminalize attempted suicide in the country, as it's among the few countries still criminalizing it.
Amongst the countries around the world, even within the African setting, we are one of the few countries left who is still criminalizing that attempted suicide. We know that one of the drivers for people to want to complete the act is this criminal aspect of the law.
The sensitization program, which was interactive, shed more light on the upcoming bill seeking to decriminalize attempted suicide in Nigeria. Zahra Unasir reporting for Global TV News.
Wale Soyinka has strongly criticized United States President Donald Trump's latest comments on Nigeria, describing them as misleading and dangerously insensitive. He warned that Trump's remarks not only distort the nation's security challenges but also risk deepening religious tensions. Global Television's Benue State correspondent Felicity Ndure reports that Soyinka made the remarks during a courtesy visit to Governor Hyacinth Alia at the Government House in Makurdi.
According to Wale Soyinka, Trump's labeling of Nigeria as a country of particular concern and his threat of possible military intervention over alleged persecution of Christians failed to reflect the complex realities of Nigerians' insecurity. He said the conflicts in many parts of the country are rooted in criminality, land disputes, governance failures, and socio-economic pressures, not targeted religious persecution, as Trump suggested.
I have some difficulties. I will not accept aid from a madman. That's all I'm doing. And my definition of a madman, or woman for that matter, is one who, when he or she says, I'm helping you, is actually complicating.
In response, Governor Hyacinth Alia dismissed the allegations as inaccurate and harmful. He emphasized that victims of insecurity cut across Christians, Muslims, and traditional worshippers, stressing that violence in Nigeria does not discriminate by religion. Governor Alia maintained that what the country needs is international support grounded in facts, not comment, that could escalate diversion or misrepresent experiences of its citizens.
So I never denied that my people were killed. I still remain very firm that we have bandits, we have terrorists who come fully organized and destroy people, maim, kill. And the last time we had checked, as I have been consistently again, as I have been religiously stating.
The meeting ended with a joint call for responsible global engagement and a deeper understanding of Nigerian security situation. Both leaders affirmed that the nation's challenges required informed solutions, not oversimplified narratives.
Abuja, Nigeria's capital city, is often known for its politics, its power players, and its polished daytime calm. But when the sun goes down, a very different side of the city emerges, one full of color, sound, energy, and a thriving culture of food, music, and late-night adventures. Our correspondent takes us into the heart of the Federal Capital Territory to explore the unique sights and sounds of Abuja after dark.
From the shimmering lights of Central Business District to the bustling corners of Wuse, Gwarimpa, and Maitama, Abuja transforms into a vibrant playground once daylight fades. Aminu Kano Crescent, arguably the heartbeat of Abuja's nightlife, from high-end lounges to roadside grids, this district comes alive with young professionals, creatives, tourists, and night crawlers, all looking for the perfect blend of relaxation and entertainment. People come here from 7 p.m. all the way to 2 or 3 in the morning. Some just want food, some want a conversation. Nighttime is their peak period. For party lovers, the city offers everything from rooftop lounges with breathtaking views to underground clubs where emerging DJs and artists test new sounds. Abuja nightlife is chilled but fun. You meet people from everywhere, diplomats, students, entrepreneurs. The vibe is different every night. While nightlife continues to boom, many residents say reliable late-night transportation and better lighting in some areas could make the experience even fast, safer, and more accessible. Whether it's food, music, culture, or community, one thing is clear: Abuja nightlife is growing, evolving, and reshaping the identity of Nigeria's capital. Abuja nightlife continues to be a reflection of the city's diversity, ambition, and youthful spirit. From quiet evenings to high-energy parties, the capital truly never sleeps. Sadia Yakubu, reporting for Global Television News.
You're watching the live broadcast of Midday News. When Midday News returns, Nigerians spent $1.39 billion on foreign education in 6 months. Details coming shortly, plus foreign and sports stories on the other side of this break. Please stay with us. Welcome back from that short break. In business news, Nigerians spent $1.39 billion on foreign education in the first half of 2025, the highest in 5 years, according to new Central Bank of Nigerian balance of payment data that highlights the deepening crisis in the country's education system. The report shows a 20% rise in dollar terms and 38% in naira compared to 2024. With analysts linking the surge in education migration to insecurity, poor infrastructure, and declining standards across Nigeria tertiary institutions, which attract almost no foreign students. Over the last 5 years, Nigeria has spent $11.1 billion, which is about 9.9 trillion naira on foreign schooling, an amount equivalent to 2.6% of national GDP and larger than the combined education budget of federal and state governments. With the federal government set to introduce a new tax framework in 2026, the debate on Nigeria's economic direction has intensified as citizens express sharp, conflicting views over what the reforms will mean for the daily lives. Kabir Hassan took to the streets of Abuja to sample public opinion.
The proposed 2026 tax policy aims to make tax payment compulsory for every eligible Nigerian, as government pushes for wider compliance to boost national revenue. But on the streets of Abuja, the nation's capital, concerns are mounting. Many residents are uncertain whether the new measures will ease the pressure on the economy or compound hardship already facing millions.
Tax reform bill, it can never be impactful to Nigerians.
And the issue of tax is a very good thing. But in Nigeria today, let us be frank to ourselves, it's not good to be of any benefit to the masses.
I don't think it can be of any immense importance to the Nigerian citizens.
About the tax, I really did not say anything bad yet.
To some Nigerians, the policy is a necessary step to strengthen government finances, improve infrastructure, and enhance service delivery. They argue that an organized and inclusive tax system could drive national development if properly managed.
What to do at the end of the day, is there any way to monitor that tax, to see that that tax goes into the right places? That's what we should be talking about.
We pay tax, we are not seeing the effect of tax we are paying. At least we are supposed to see it on social amenities, on health, on education.
It's leadership, it's corruption. Nigeria is blessed with a lot of resources. So it's corruption, it's leadership malfunction.
However, others strongly disagree, warning that citizens are already overwhelmed by rising costs, high inflation, and stagnant wages. To them, introducing additional tax obligation without visible improvement in governance may further strain household budgets.
So what are we channeling these tax reforms to? It's not about doing tax, it's where is it going to? Is there a credible way to see that, okay, this is where the tax is going to, or you just collect tax and then they steal?
People are suffering. People cannot afford basic amenities. And we are introducing tax. I don't think it will go a long way in solving the problem of the ordinary Nigerian.
Might have We've done all this before. We'll not be facing the challenge now. So
as government efforts towards a more compliant tax system continue, public sentiment remains deeply divided. Nigerians say what they expect most is fairness, transparency, and a tax structure that aligns with the true state of economy. Kabir Hassan reporting for Global TV News.
On the foreign scene, Guinea-Bissau votes today in a tense election as President Umaru Embalo seeks a rare second consecutive term in the nation marked by a repeated coup, facing 11 opponents, including front-runner Fernando Diaz, who enjoys backing from the historic PEGS party barred from fielding candidates this year. Analysts predict a close race that may require a runoff amid concern over political polarization, allegations that Embalo manufactured crisis for crackdowns and disputes about whether his mandate expired early this year. Both leading candidates promised stability and improved services, with theirs accusing the president of plotting to weaken institutions, while Embalo pledges more infrastructure and expanded water access if re-elected. Brazil's former president was taken into custody after the Supreme Court ruled him a flight risk, saying he attempted to disable his ankle monitor with a soldering iron while under house arrest for a failed coup plot aimed at preventing Luiz da Silva from taking office. Justice Alexander said the actions, combined with a raid organized by his son and the proximity of his residence to the United States Embassy, indicated a coordinated plan to flee, prompting preventive detention as his final appeals continue. Bolsonaro admitted to damaging the device out of curiosity, while allies called the situation a political witch hunt, and the court gave his lawyers 24 hours to explain the incident. Flooding in south-central Vietnam has killed at least 90 people and left 12 missing after restless rainfall triggered landslides, destroyed bridges, and in cities including Trang and areas around the last. More than 60 deaths occurred in Dak Lak province, where thousands of homes were submerged. Over 3.2 million livestock were lost. Roads and rail lines remained blocked, and 129,000 customers were still without electricity after earlier blackout, affecting over 1 million. The government deployed helicopters and tens of thousands of personnel for rescue operations, with economic losses estimated at $343 million, as authorities warn that climate-driven extreme weather is worsening nationwide. And in sports, Rivers United suffer a heavy 3-0 defeat to defending champions Pyramid FC in the CAF Champions League group stage opener, despite holding the Egyptians to disciplined first half at the Fateh John Stadium in Cairo. Egyptian striker Ahmed Ati produced a stunning second half hat-trick, scoring in the 52nd and 72nd minutes as Rivers' defensive structure collapsed after the break. The result leaves the Nigerian side with early work to do in a competitive Group B featuring RS Bakin and Power Dynamos, while Pyramids enforced their status as continental favorites. Harvey Barnes scored twice to lead Newcastle United to a spirited victory over Manchester City in a Australian Premier League encounter at St James Park. Opened the second before City levered through a Ruben Dias effort deflected off Fabian, but the winger restored Newcastle's lead and Bruno header crash off the bar. The win capped in resilient display from Newcastle, who weathered City's pressure and capitalized clinically on their chances. Anthony Joshua has vowed to break Jake Paul when they meet in their blockbuster December 19 heavyweight fight in Miami, warning that he intends to dominate the YouTube-turned boxer despite the unusual weight cap of 243 pounds imposed on him. Paul remained defend and at their first face-off insisting he can avoid Joshua's power for 8 rounds and declaring him he is ready to die in the ring to win, while calling Joshua one of the best heavyweights ever. Joshua preparing under the team that trains champions amid to rebound from his knockout loss to Daniel, while Paul hopes to rely on speed, movement, and discipline in the high-profile Netflix streamed box. And that's it on Media News. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and StarTimes channels 276. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms now showing on your screen using at Global TV NG. I am Sadia Yakubu saying thank you for watching.